Hey, Aquarius on the ascendant. How's everybody doing? Thank you, everybody, for your donations, for your contributions. I'm in the red. The tax is 250. Guys, give as much as you can to eat up that debt. Thank you. And I'm going to finish this series tonight. Finishing with the mutable cross with Leo on the ascendant. We're doing Aquarius now. And then I'm going to do the mutable signs. Hopefully, we'll be done by 6 in the morning. Listening to Tito Puente. Cosmic. Aquarius on the ascendant. Now, understand. What did I tell you? The ego and the personality becomes highly complex as we're reaching Pisces. Our merging back to God. And if you got karma, you are going to be bounded back into the wheel of rebirth. But if you've done good, you can come back as a healer, like I've done, and most of us healers, to give and impact humanity with blessings of mental healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing, and cosmic intelligence that will leap us from being in this carbon matter and encaged like animals in this carbon existence of earthly existence set forth by the demiurgic God, Jehovah, and all the names that he goes by. Once we know that we are in a mental prison and a physical prison of carbon matter, once we know that we can break free and merge to be the God that we were supposed to have been before we got casted from the Garden of Eden. Remember, the swords were put in the Garden of Eden, so man cannot eat from the tree of life. He already ate from the tree of knowledge. You will so become as gods. It's in Genesis. But now that we're entering the Aquarian age, we are breaking all this falsehood and all this indoctrinated falsehood of the religious ages that began in the Piscean age. Now, for the first time, we can break away from that. And for the first time in the human evolution, for the past 26,000 years, we can now go back to the original state of beauty and bliss before the fall of man, when we were captured as a divine spark, a divine spirit, a virgin spirit, which is what humanity is, grabbed by Jehovah and encased in carbon matter. The story of creation and the fall of man and how the demiurgic God saved us into this carbon matter is the epic of Aquarius. Ah. I dedicate this to my brother Bruce Lindstad, who is a Leo with a rising sign of Aquarius. So to my baby brother who's 40, he's not so much a baby anymore, you know, my beloved brother from another mother, this is for you. I dedicate this ascendant to you. Okay, now let's talk about the Aquarian personality and ego. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about what the cosmic purpose of Aquarius is. Aquarius in the 11th house, the 11th sign. Remember, it is a master number. It connects to Neptune, Pisces, and the 12th house. So it's very interesting that the water bearer has water and he's impacting the water on the earth. And the water is that of Pisces. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that interesting? Ain't that interesting? Because a lot of people used to think that Aquarius was a water sign because of the water bearer. No, he's air. And there's air in the waters. So it's interesting that he's the 11th sign And the 11th number is a master number that connects to Pisces and water and the 12th house and Neptune. And here we have Pisces coming to a close and the Aquarian water bearer. Now the constellation is more visible now than ever before since there's a diet going on in the heavens and we're now entering the Aquarian age. We've been there already. But the waters of Pisces are still influencing the age of Aquarius, but not in the same way that it was in the early part of the Piscean age, going close to 2,000 years ago, before Jesus Christ. Okay? We were still in the Roman period, the Aryan age, the age of conquest, and the rise of the Aryan race. Aquarius rules the races of mankind on the earth. Uh, but he also rules the races of extraterrestrial beings that are also children and sons of God. I just revealed you a powerful mystery, an occult mystery. Ah, the bee just grabbing me. It's like a cobra enraptured by the flute. That's me. With the music of Tito. But this particular piece is suitable for the Aquarian explanation of Aquarius. Oh yes, go ahead, Tito Puente, motherfucker, with them percussions. But understand that in keeping with the music of Tito Puente, which is very, it's posthumously, it transcends the ages. This is also very Aquarian. Music, the higher octave and vibrations of a higher order that could be too intense for the containment of carbon matter. It's also a principle of Aquarius. Electricity, electrical storms, all fall under Aquarius. The auroras, okay, the northern lights of our planet, the shooting stars that you see in the skies, all that is Aquarius, the cosmic intelligence of the divine creator outside of the microcosm, which is down here, the macrocosm being up there. But it's all one in the same. As above, so below. Aquarius and the ascendant. It is cosmic, divine intelligence of a higher octave that is not even understood by the personality that bears the ascendant of Aquarius. I'm sorry, I'm Virgo, I'm Earth, I'm very sensual. This how I express my sensual is through physical movement, as it does Taurus and Capricorn. We're the sensualists. Everything is and we love the yum 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 intelligence of Aquarius. It is cosmic, fascinating, terrifying, and terrifyingly complex. We see this in the order of the cosmos. The cosmos is exactly like that. Okay? Now, I've said a lot. How do we translate this into the human personality and ego? Let's begin. First, a few announcements that I gotta say. We're finishing the series tonight. I like to see uh, at least over 200 to block off the negative to finish the series. Let me know what next series you would like for me to begin, because we're on a roll here and the retrograde is going to hit on the 31st. So you know me, when the retrograde hit, I might not be in the air for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks. It's like that. I hate it. I lose money. I lose time. You guys get to miss me. You miss me. It's terrible. Just terrible. 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 But I'm at the mercy of the gods of Mercury. And when he leaves the orbit, the Earth is on its own. Why do I mention Mercury? Because Mercury is the lower octave of Uranus. The higher octave of Virgo is Uranus, which of course is exalted in Virgo. Mercury is the lesser, Uranus is the higher. So both planets are of super active intelligences. So understand that the genius that culminates in Aquarius begins in Virgo with the low octave of Mercury. Mercury is an antenna, a receptor, just like Aquarius, but on a higher plane. Okay? As above, so below. So understand that automatically, out the bat, out the gate, the Aquarian personality will not be understood by itself, by himself or herself, and by those of others. Not even his own parents will understand him or her. The teachers, siblings, the society, and the current culture in which the person with the Aquarian ascendant is born under is not going to really gel very well. There'll be bumps along the way and very powerful obstacles and oppositions to the true knowledge of self. Because the Aquarian personality, or the person with the Aquarian on the ascendant, is not going to see himself and his fellow human beings. He's going to see himself quite different from them. Like he's an extraterrestrial himself. And he's going to feel that way, even though he won't talk about it. Because he's terrified to give it energy. Aquarius and the ascendant. Oh, another beat. Oh my God. I want to just pack up and go to Copacabana or go to Iguana and just dance my salsa. But I'm a priest. I can't do none of that anymore. Ain't that fucked up? None of that anymore. No, so I have to live it in my mind right here in my own space. So I gotta keep it cool. I've already done my dirt. I'm 52 years old. I've already done my dirt. So I'm supposed to be a good boy. Well, it's a work in progress. And saying that, I can say the same thing about the Aquarian man and the Aquarian woman. Now, I will say both of them are quite different. Both of them are quite different in their psychology and in their orientation. hmm hmm So, we're going to jump right in. And we are going to talk about how this whole. 'Cause I went 12 minutes giving a cosmic dissertation. And I have to do that. Because remember, we are from the stars. We're not from here. So I'm going to begin with a breakdown of all the ascendant positions with reference to the stars where we come from. So let's jump right in and discuss Aquarius at the mundane level on the ascendant. Understand that we are still dealing with a fixed cross. Okay? Aquarius is the fixed cross. And when you are born with Aquarius rising on the ascendant, you will find a clearer sense of individuality. Remember, the opposite polarity of Aquarius is Leo, and Leo rules the personality and the individuality. The individuality that is expressed in Aquarius begins in Leo. It culminates in Sagittarius. It reaches a midpoint in Sagittarius, and then it culminates in Aquarius. The ultimate expression of individuality and self-individuation occurs in Leo, reaches a midpoint in Sagittarius, again, fire, fire, and then reaches highest divinity and fullest expression of intellect, where it cannot go any further, and that's Aquarius. Because when we enter Pisces, that level of intelligence and knowledge begins to die, for it has no space with the divine. Aquarius and the ascendant. Okay? Understand that the Aquarian person, or the person with Aquarius and the ascendant, is looking at life from a detached point of view. He is like he's stepping back or stepping out of humanity and looking at humanity from an intellectual, objective perspective. The problem with that, there's already a problem with that. There's already a problem with that. Because when we're dealing with the mundane or interpersonal or intimacy, relationship dynamics, This is not the best approach for the Aquarian male. Let's begin with him first. This is not the best strategy for the man with the Aquarian ascendant to approach love and intimacy and human relationships and interpersonal exchange of thoughts and ideas in a detached, objectified form of view. It worked if you're a scientist, but not if you want to establish an intimate relationship with the opposite sex. This is not the approach. But yet, this exactly becomes the approach with the Aquarian man when he wants to approach the opposite sex. He dissects relationships. He dissects experiences like a scientist does in a petri dish on a laboratory. And a sense of humanity is lost when the Aquarian ascendant man or woman begins to look at relationships in a very third party, third person, objectified viewpoint. Not to mention that looking at a relationship that way may not have its merits. But when it comes to closeness and human intimacy, this is not the approach to go. Mr. Aquarius on the ascendant, or Mrs. Aquarius on the ascendant, albeit it's different for the human female. She's a little bit better at managing the ascendant of Aquarius, regardless of whatever sign she may be. But this is not the case when we're dealing with the Aquarian ascendant rising male, where he tends to be more secularized, more provincial, and far more stubborn in his intellect than the woman would care to be. Because at the end of the day, such stubbornness and defiance and adherence to a particular philosophy that could offend and off put other people should have a reason at the end of the day. What is the motivation for holding on to such views or radical views? How is that going to cause closeness of intimacy? Well, here's the thing. That's the paradox. Remember, Aquarius is the 11th sign of the zodiac. The psychological orientation of the Aquarian man and woman is not to formulate relationships. It's not to formulate intimacy. This is really, really something that you gotta take in. Which is why Aquarian men and Aquarian women have the toughest time of all the 12 signs of the zodiac of establishing intimacy in a relationship. Because on one hand, they're not allowed to. They've already done so in their many incarnations. So when they reach the Aquarian ascendant or the Aquarian sun sign, they're already they've already postulated what needs to take place and what needs to occur as far as their scheme of things in the human evolution. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh boy. Excuse me. So, having said that, yeah. Having said that, the Aquarian man, when he gets, when a woman becomes attached to him, he runs because he doesn't want to bear the responsibility of having to nurture another soul. He figures that he's already been there, done it. And if a woman attaches herself too much and becomes clingy, like most women would when they fall in love, then that seems to be a weakness on the part of the Aquarian man. The Aquarian man sees that as a weakness on the part of the women that fall for him. I mean, he can fuck him down and lay them out, and he will take advantage of the fact that he's a good fuck, and no wonder the women fall for you. And then you blame them for falling for you? Really? That's fucked up and a little sadistic. But the Aquarian man wants nothing to do with emotional exchange of an intimacy level because it frightens him at a deep core. This is not the case with the woman with Aquarius on the ascendant, albeit there is a certain level of inherent fear, but not to the degree of total despondency or abandonment I've given the opportunity to enter into a relationship that will foster some kind of intimacy. With the man with Aquarius and the ascendant, he blocks it completely. Completely. Aquarius and the ascendant. And another thing, with Aquarius and the ascendant, what is this God complex? The Aquarian man really is more detected on the Aquarian man than it is on the Aquarian woman, or women or men with Aquarius and the ascendant. Is that they have this God complex that they are God. And that very well may be. Because we are all gods in human form. And you don't got to tell Aquarian man that. He knows that. But here's the thing. You may know this intellectually, and an Aquarius does represent the highest form of intellectual expression that is awarded to the humankind. So yes, your mind and your mental acuity is a force to reckon with. It is. I ain't gonna lie, it is. But here's the thing, Mr. Aquarius, or Aquarius ascendant, or even the sun in Aquarius, is that you are not invincible. You are not invulnerable. Nothing under the sun is invincible or invulnerable. And as long as you are in carbon matter, Mr. Aquarius, or Aquarius on the ascendant, you're going to go through all the same trials and tribulations and vicissitudes, emotional especially, vicissitudes, like the rest of us. And you're going to have to manage it like the rest of us. But your way of managing emotions is to dismiss them, like Miss and Mr. Libra, a quality among the air signs. Aquarius on the ascendant. Oh, I'm telling you, when I talk about Aquarius, oh, I gotta re up. You know me already. You know me already. All right. Let me keep the bitch nearby. Because Aquarius, somehow I get really mad when I talk about Aquarius. It is so detached. Handsome motherfuckers. The men and the women are just as hot as they can be. Remember, Leo is the opposite polarity. Sexy motherfuckers, but hard, just hard to grab, to grasp, and to hold. God forbid the Leo woman, the Aquarian woman, or the Leo man, or the Aquarian man. These are just very, very sexy men and women, irresistible. But if you ever fall for them, they will pull away from you because God forbid that the emotions should get involved now. Now it's a problem. Something that is shared by both Leo and Aquarius on the ascendant. Yeah. Let me light the spliff. Oh, that's the beat. Hey, that's my fun. That is my fun. So I gotta say that this God complex is something to behold above the Aquarian man and the Aquarian woman. Let me tell you, it's something, it's something, it's something, it's something else. There's so much to say about the Aquarian ascendant, but it's very powerful. Okay? These people are geniuses, intellectual geniuses. And if you wanna, for me to continue, I guess I'm gonna have to have you do a birth chart or call me for a consultation because there's too much to cover. We're not gonna do it in 25 minutes. Okay. So again, 347-485-6258. Please donate. Get a chart. Put all your orders in now before the retrograde. At least do it now. We can do the readings during the retrograde, but book it now before the retrograde. That's the key. Okay, and we're done with Aquarius.